Welcome back. In this session, we will discuss about how to store the speed torque characteristic that we have derived from the vehicle model in the lookup table. We will need lookup table in further section to connect the vehicle model with the motor model. So we will see how to store the lookup table. If one already know and used to use the lookup table, then they can skip the session. But for those who don't know how to store the lookup table, here now you know from the experiment by selecting different torque we have measured the steady state speed. So let's use this torque speed characteristics, and from this torque speed characteristics and torque speed data we will store it in lookup table. So we will first use the Simulink library. From the Simulink library, go to the lookup table. You will find 1D lookup table, 2D lookup table. First we will use the 1D lookup table, then we will also see what is use of 2D and ND lookup table. So this is lookup table. The data can be stored x-axis and y-axis. So when input is arrived, and it will provide the output according to the characteristic stored. So if you double click the 1D lookup table, you will see something like this. Here we can change the data table, but before that edit table and breakpoint, we have two options. We can enter the data point from here also. You can see this is column bold number and this is the its output. So what we want, we require the lookup table such that if we are having the speed as input, for the speed we will have the what minimum torque required to achieve the speed, as we have discussed the speed torque and torque speed characteristics earlier. So this characteristic will require, we will do the reverse. For the speed as a input, we will see what is the torque required. Here we have supplied the torque and measured the speed, and now from the lookup table we want first speed as a input, and for this speed what minimum torque is required. That torque will be used as a load in the vehicle model, that we will discuss later, but currently we have data of torque and speed. So here first column we will start from the 0. Here also I am writing the same so that we can have the first result is 0 0, and here the torque 0. This is the speed 28.4. We will also see the second option, which is more easy, and torque is 5. So this is your result. Like we can change the speed restored data. 16 is speed km/h and 10 is the Newton meter torque. Likewise we can fill all the data, and in the closing update the data. So you can see here breakpoint and data table also updated here according to our entry. So now what we need to do, instead of doing these things, right, by filling, we can also use the proper format. See, here we have not selected all the data properly, so it is here minus, so it is showing something confusion over here. Otherwise it directly shows what is the shape of your graph and xy relationship. So when we store all the point, then it will give the also shape. But instead of doing this, what we will use, we can write the same thing in the format that we want. Let's use it. I have already written it in the required format here. You can use the notepad, or later on you can store your speed torque characteristic in this format. So speed and torque. So it is our data point output required with the comma separation. All data we can enter here in the data tab. So you can see the format and speed, which is the black point. So I am entering. Okay, update. So now you can see it is visible. The torque speed characteristic we have told is visible. So for the input speed, the minimum torque required will be our output. So this data we have stored in this characteristics. It looks simple, but this is very important lookup table, and this lookup table contain all the major information about this vehicle model. So now further we will not require this vehicle model, we will require only this characteristic. That's it. That is, we derive this result from experimentally from the vehicle model. So this lookup table and this characteristic is important. We will see how to use it, but let's check. We will use the one constant from the commonly used block. Let's have the constant, and one display from the sink. We will use the display, so to ensure the result. So we know the value for the 28.4 speed as an input. The torque should be 5. So if we run it, we can have answer 5. Likewise for the 10, for the 14.16, the torque should be 10. So let's run again, right? So it is showing exact value. Now check one intermediate position. So I am selecting 35, and let's see, it is between 5 and 10, 7.8. So all the point in between these values are also linearly manipulated by the algorithm. So here the interpolation methods also we can select. Here I make it linear only because we are having number of points, so you do not need to worry. That's why we have taken the maximum point. So you can see the graph will look like this. We have already plotted the graph. So this is how 1D lookup table can be used. And if we talk about the 2D lookup table, it is something the similar, but we are having the more option. So you can use the 2D lookup table, and from this point here you can select the first what you want in the x-axis. So for our case it is speed, and here you can select, make the count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what are the number of different vehicle model you have to store. So suppose we are having the vehicle model of number of different vehicles. I will name it the vehicle model of, this is, suppose I name it 200 kg vehicle model. So this is 200 kg vehicle model. If I have the particular specific vehicle, then also I can mention this is the, suppose, Maruti Swift Desire vehicle model, or whatever model we have built. If we are having the more model and we need to shift and change the characteristics very fast, then this 2D lookup table we can use here to store the number of characteristics. So x-axis remains same, so we need to take a result such that the speed, to achieve the speed of suppose 0 to 10, 20, 30, 40, likewise we will set the torque to have the speed. So it will be easy to enter the all character because x-axis remain same. And then y, we will have the different characteristics, different result of torque for the same value. Here it will be speed, Here it will be torque for 1, torque for 2, torque for 3, and after that we will have, suppose I am filling the data. This is speed, so speed 0, speed 10, speed 20. I am adding one more row, suppose speed 30, speed 40, 50 and 60, enough to understand. And here the torque of the one model, suppose it is 0, 5, 10 Newton meter, 15, it is 25, increasing, 20, 27, 36 randomly, right? And this is the characteristic of some other vehicle. So for this speed, for this vehicle, suppose torque required is higher, so I will write it is 7, here it is 13. Randomly I am selecting only to observe the shape of the 26, 32, 42, and I am deleting this third column. So now we are having two options and updating, yes, all the data. So you can see two curves are visible. Now the same way, the first here we will apply the speed and here we will get the torque, but this U2 we can select only two options, 1 or 2, because we have here selected number 1 and 2. So 1 will represent the first characteristics. So if I have the speed of 10, then answer will be 5, and if I select the 2, then answer will be 7, like this. So if I run it, you can see answer is 5. Making space so that it can be visible. And if I use here 2, then second characteristic will be selected and answer will be 7. So in one lookup table we can store the characteristic of more than one vehicle, or in different way we can use the 2D and ND lookup table. But here we required only the 1D lookup table for as of now, and hope you got the idea about how to store this torque speed characteristic into the lookup table. So then we will see how to use the lookup table to connect with the vehicle model.